Hi Figtree, and welcome to the panel. We're excited to be spending Sunday evening with you. For those that are going to watch the 6 o'clock service, we're going to have a great time before you watch that service. My name is Langdon, there's my name on the screen. Got some friends with us tonight. To my right, left, we've got Josh, we've got Ruth, our youth pastors. To my right, we've got Joe Brain and Senior Minister Ian Barnett. Tonight is a Q&A. Tonight we are going to answer some of the questions that you, the congregation, have sent in. And we're going to be talking about a couple of topics. But also tonight, you've got a chance to text us your questions. So you can jump on the phone. If you've got a question about one of our topics or something that you'd like us to answer tonight in this live stream, you can text that to 0447 595 345, and we'll see if we can get to those questions in the second half of the night. So we're glad you're with us. Thank you for those that sent in questions already, and we're going to start by looking through those questions. And the first one I'm going to direct to Ian. Welcome, Ian.
Welcome, Langdon. Thank you. Good to see you.
You too. One of the questions that's come in is, what will Onsite Church look like for families with young children if they aren't included in the kids program?
Thank you. Excellent question for the person who asked it. Let's just say right up front, church is going to look different for everyone and every generation. So if you can lock that in, anything I say post that will help you, because we're only talking about the 5th of July and the 12th of July. So in terms of kids programs, and later on you'll get a video from Logan and Jenny explaining more, but particularly for the 10 o'clock service, we have a kids program for preschoolers and for kindergarten to year 5. That'll be up in the hub. That's the area that'll be opened up for the program to happen. So that's very exciting. You have to register, as you know. Everyone coming on site has to register. Now, in regards to those little kids who may not fit the category of the kids program that we've organised just for those 2 Sundays, mums and dads, please relax. We're quite happy if they stay in the service. We'll do our best to accommodate them. But don't be anxious. We'd just rather see you here. These 2 services, they're experiments. We're trying to see how we go and how we manage it. So we'll do all. We love you guys. I'd rather see you here than not see you here. Now, of course, mums and dads, you can stay at home. You can do all sorts of things at home. There's the online service that will be happening. You can invite more around to your home, etc. But if you want to come along, brothers and sisters, come along so we can engage as well. But you'll be fine. Relax. Don't stress. We look forward to seeing you on those 2 days.
And people can jump on the website to register for those 2 things. Another question for you, Ian, a question that's come in. What is the timeline for replacing the youth young adults minister? Miles is not with us here at church anymore for a couple of months now. What's the timeline?
Excellent question. How come I'm getting all these excellent questions up front? We should move them to Joe or Langdon or someone else. What's the timeline? If I knew that, I'd tell you. But let's understand the reality check here. You know that at some point I'm retiring. That'll be happening within 12 months. Some wisdom would say that even if we advertised a youth and young adult pastor today, I'm not even sure what actually we're offering them here to do. The role has changed. It's gone through change because of the season we're in through COVID. I'll introduce you in a moment or two to some awesome young leaders who are helping us out. My guess is probably once a new leader has been identified, let's just say that happens this year, then you'd probably move towards advertising for that role so that person could talk to the new leader. That person does report to Shane, which is great because he does an awesome job in that area, but you've really got to be thinking 3 to 6 months minimum before we start advertising for that role. And therefore, that person, you'd hope, would start in 2021.
Thank you, Ian. Another fairly long question. We're continuing this sort of theme. We're thinking about our young people. Ian, this person has written, could you make a statement concerning the 6 p.m. youth or Fuse? How are their congregational needs being met? What is the leadership structure and who are the leaders? And can you report on how their life group and midweek fellowship outreach is developing through this COVID time? A few bits to that question, Ian.
Thank you, Langdon. Don't we love the work of Langdon? Well, right up front, understand that it's been a while since we called the 6 p.m. Fuse. We just call it 6 p.m. now. And so we've probably dropped quite a while ago the word fuse. I understand while it's been there, and I apologise if we haven't communicated that really clearly to you. It is going to be on at 5 o'clock. Understand that for the next 2 Sundays, because that gives people a chance to gather after. And so that's one thing to know. We don't have what many other churches would have, and smaller churches, called congregational pastors. So we don't have that model of ministry here at Figtree. We haven't had that model for, probably 20 or more years. And so we seek to connect and help people through our life group ministry. And Joe will be explaining some more about that in a little while. But how the young people are being connected and encouraged right now, it's been great, because I announced this a little while ago, that we have 2 youth pastors, 2 co-youth pastors who are splitting the role and sharing the role in Ruth and Josh. Both love the church, both love Jesus, more importantly, and both love our young people. And so I'm going to hand it back to Langdon so we can they're on the panel tonight, just so they can speak more about what's happening with that ministry.
This is very exciting, because I don't think we've had really a chance formally up front since COVID to actually formally introduce you guys. So I'm really glad to do that. For those that don't know you, Ruth and Josh, tell us about yourselves. Who are you?
So my name's Ruth. I've been coming to Figtree since I was 5 years old. I was a youth intern here for 2 years, student minister last year, and now one of the youth pastors, been a youth leader for the past 7 years. My youth are in year 12 now, about to graduate, which is pretty exciting. But yeah, that's probably me in a nutshell.
Josh.
Yeah, I've been at this church all my life, all 25 years, and it's been great. I've been leading youth as well. Last year, I finished leading year 12, and then signed back on at the start of the year to come back and lead year. Hayden, one of my youth kids, just partied up the back, signed on at the start of this year to come back to lead year 10. Little did I know that I'd be a youth pastor a couple of months later. So here I am.
That's awesome. We are 100% behind you guys as our youth pastors. We're so thankful you're here. We haven't formally said that, but we're so glad. Tell us, how has youth been gathering?
Yeah. So when COVID first hit, we kind of dreamt up this idea of a live stream on Friday nights, and we've had an incredible team working on making that happen each week. And so that's been a big part of how we've been gathering. This week marks the 12th live stream that we've done, which is just incredible. And so that's been heaps of fun. We've also been using Zoom to meet kind of in a more personal way with our youth kids, and that's been great too. This coming Friday is actually the first Friday where we're actually meeting in person with our youth in year groups, and we're so excited. Everyone's very excited about that, and so that'll be great for this week. We're still doing a stream, and we're gathering as year groups to watch that together, which should be a really great experience.
Can I ask you an off-the-cuff question, just to be fun? How have the youth been coping going through this crisis time? What's your reflections?
Yeah, I think for all of us, it's been a really hard time, but for youth, it's just the change of routine. First of all, not being able to go to school. And having that massive change in routine, and that just completely out of control. I think that's been really hard for them, and for us not to be able to kind of walk through that like we might walk through other issues with them in other times has been really, really tough. And I think it's been tough, like it has been for all of us. But we're looking towards getting back on meeting together, and especially for term 3, heading towards that direction. So that's really exciting.
We're very glad about that too. Ruth, I want to ask you a question that's come in during the week. The question is, what will be happening with fuel groups and youth over the coming weeks and months?
Yeah, so fuel groups are like our life groups, our Bible studies for youth. And originally we were doing them on Sundays for junior youth, and then throughout the week for senior youth over Zoom. But then in more recent times, we have incorporated that into our Friday nights. We just found it was really hard for connecting with youth, for getting them there on a second time. It was tough on leaders. It wasn't working super great. So since moving it to a Friday fortnightly, that has actually worked much better. We've had much more youth engagement. Leaders have more energy, and it's just kind of flowed better with the stream as well. So that's what we have been doing. Next term, we are looking at returning face-to-face for youth group on Fridays, which is awesome. We haven't fully worked out what that means for Fuel yet, if we're going to try and find another time to do that or do it on Friday nights for a little while. We're not completely sure, but we will be doing Fuel in some capacity, but still working out what that looks like in this coming season.
We are, as I said, so glad that you guys are in this space and have been in this space for a long time. So I just encourage, pray for our youth. Pray for Ruth and Josh as co-pastors, and pray for all the youth leaders. But keep on praying and being so supportive in this new unprecedented season for doing youth ministry. We're so glad you guys are here. And if you're at home, give them a clap or something. It's maybe a bit weird, I don't know. We've got a couple more questions, but tonight is also an opportunity that if you have a question, you can text that question in, and you can text your question to 0447 595 345. There it is on the screen, 0447 595 345. If you've got a question for Ruth and Josh, you've got a question about services for Ian. Our next question tonight, though, is for Joe Brain. Welcome, Joe.
Welcome. Thank you.
Awesome. Couple of questions for you tonight. And in fact, I can see a couple of questions that have come in for Joe tonight, which we'll get to.
Ones.
Some spontaneous ones as well. Joe loves spontaneous, so it's good. Joe, the first question that came in during the week, what have we learned about the importance of life groups during this disruption?
Yeah. I mean, life groups, we feel are the lifeblood of our church. They are vital. A great way to care for each other and connect. And so when we haven't been able to meet here on a Sunday, life groups have been really important during this time. And our life groups have adapted really well. We've got 45 groups, life groups here, young adult groups. And most of them were able to still connect and do that via Zoom, which was awesome. So I thank all those leaders who adapted so well. And also to our L2s, which is our leader to leaders, and they care for our life group leaders. We have 12 of those, and they've done a great job too in stepping in. So I think, for this time, some people have thrived really well, but for lots of people, it's been a really difficult season, socially, mentally, financially. But the good thing about life groups is that we get to do that together. And so I think that's been a really important thing at a time of fellowship and connection. But of course, not everyone's in a life group for all sorts of reasons. I hope that for those people that they still feel connected to our church, that they still have an opportunity to engage with Christians and do life with them too. And we hope with this time of coming back face to face in the next few weeks that we get to connect with you again and do life as fellow believers with you soon.
Joe, is it also fair to say if someone's watching this and they're not in a life group,
I'd love to hear from you.
They can join, get in touch with Joe.
Yes.
Even if you've been putting it off or you're not sure what it looks like.
Yeah, we've had some people join groups the last few months, and that's been lovely. Even via Zoom, turning up. And our Women's Bible series was great for that too. We had 12 small groups meeting for the 6 weeks of the Women's Bible series, and that was new people joined that aren't usually in life groups, and the people that stuck in there and hung in there really loved that. It was a great opportunity, cross-generational connection among women for that period of time.
Great. Another question for you, Joe, that's come in during the week. A huge part of our church for me, this person, I don't know who's written it, but a huge part of our church for me is being able to catch up over morning tea. With that still unavailable, how do we connect?
Yeah, I hear you. That's really important to me too. For many of us, church isn't just the service and just the singing, but it's actually the opportunity to meet with our fellow believers afterwards and connect and have fellowship. Really important part of just discipling each other, encouraging one another, and doing life together. So even though we can't do sort of morning tea like we would normally, let's think of church being not just in this particular room, but beyond here. What can we do to continue church after the service? So some things that we've organised and talked about are going to Botanic Gardens afterwards. So just to add to that, we had some clarification on that today, and it sounds like that groups of 20 are still limited for outdoor gatherings. So for those that can come to the Botanic Gardens for like a BYO picnic after the 10 a.m. services for the next 2 Sundays, it just might mean that we have to have kind of pods of up to 20 people meeting there. And also homes. This is a great time to offer hospitality and to have some people come over to your home and watch the live stream together and do lunch afterwards, or invite people back to your house after the service here and do lunch together. You can have up to 20 people in your house. We'd really love to encourage people to do that. Same for 5 p.m. service, to go out for coffee or dinner after at a restaurant, but also invite people over to your house after church. We love to see, like the early church, church in the home, that we can still do that. We can have up to 20 people. So encourage people to think about ways to connect and do face-to-face fellowship just beyond the service.
It's actually a great opportunity, isn't it, that we've got, that you could invite someone over to your house to have dinner and watch the service. In some ways, it's maybe even easier than inviting people into the building and stuff like that. So there's opportunities that we have in this season as well. We're going to take a short break. We're going to see a package from Jenny and Logan. After, we'll be back. We're going to answer your text questions. You've got a couple of minutes still. If you have a question, you'd love us on the panel to talk about it, you can text it in. The number is there at 0447 595 345. Text that in. We'll be back in 2 minutes with some of your text questions.
Hi everyone, it's Jenny here.
Hey guys, Logan.
And we're here to tell you about some great things that are happening in Figtree Kids.
Yeah.
So we've got our Sunday morning kids ministry, we have our Spark Kids Club, and we have our Kids Fun Day. So Logan, what's happening with Sunday morning?
Sunday mornings, yeah, I'm really excited to be going back to face-to-face and seeing all the kids. It's going to be at 10 a.m. like normal. Our 10 a.m. service will have a kids ministry portion, but there'll be 40 places only for our kids ministry. So that means you'll be registering on our website, on the Figtree Anglican Church website, to come to the week that your family is attending with. So that could be the 5th of July or the 12th.
Yep.
And so all kids of all ages are available for that. So that's preschool all the way to year 5. And that'll be happening up in our hub area. And Jenny, that has to do with our pick up and drop off with the hub.
Yes. So we would love you to drop off your children. You can remain in your car, we'll do a thermometer check, or we'll ask you some questions, and we'll greet the kids and take them into the kids' space. Then at the end of the service, please come and pick them up the same way. If you're not in your car, please make sure that you keep the required distance. And the distance rule applies to the kids as well. Yeah. So they will need to try at all times to keep distance from each other. And we'll have that in mind with the program that we plan. Now, Spark Tuesdays, and what's happening with Kids Fun Day?
Yeah, the Kids Fun Day is still going to be online for
Yes.
this next Kids Fun Day, which is on the 17th of July. So it's not too far away, getting close to every day. And you can actually register for that right now.
Yes.
It's open on our website, so registrations are available. And we're looking so excited, and we're really excited to see you guys there.
We are. Thank you for your prayers, thank you for your support, and we look forward to seeing your children really soon. Bye.
Awesome. Thank you. And thank you for your text questions that have come in. We're excited for those. Someone called Shane is texting us, but I don't know if we're going to look at those ones. Hi, Shane. Shane was sick today. But Joe, we've got 2 questions that have come in for you, thinking more about life groups. First question that's come in. After the lifting of indoor gathering restrictions on July 1st, will life groups return as per usual? And the second part is, will an online aspect of life groups continue on the other side of the pandemic?
Yeah, great question. So restrictions have already lifted actually for indoor homes that you can have up to 20. So we've adapted with that, and life groups now have the opportunity to meet in homes, which some of them have started doing, meeting in lounge rooms. We've got a set of procedures to keep people safe with that life group leaders have been asked to follow, so things like hand sanitizer and keeping a record of who's in the home. But yeah, that's been great, and different groups are negotiating different things. So some have decided to still stick to Zoom and do that online at the moment. Some have gone over to meeting in lounge rooms again. which is fine. Some are doing a bit of a hybrid approach. So some people are Zooming in from home and other people are meeting in the lounge room and they're gathering together in that way. So look, each group's doing its own thing and negotiating what works for them, and that's fine. Term 3, some more will start to meet face-to-face, I think. Going forward into the future, I think we've learnt that groups can be online. It's something we hadn't really considered before, but it does work. And so we would love to see a couple of online groups meeting via Zoom down the track. So I have about a few people who've indicated interest in that, and we'll be looking at finding leaders and starting some groups, probably women's one to start with, maybe a mixed one as well down the track. That would be great to see.
Awesome. Thank you, Joe. Second question. This is our last text question for the evening. What is happening with the women's retreat this year, Joe?
Oh, I love that question. Women's retreat. Well, we were going to be at Kaya Ridge for a 24-hour retreat like we did last year. We're looking forward to that. But unfortunately, with all the restrictions, having 6 to 8 people sleeping in a small room probably isn't going to work. And even the space that they have with the 4 square metre rule at the moment, that's just not going to work for the amount of women that we take to that event. So unfortunately, we've had to cancel Kaya Ridge, which is a bit of a shame, but we've come up with an alternate thing. So I can let you know, women, please put the 12th of September into your diary. That's a Saturday. We're going to do a one-day event, and we're going to take it off-site. We're going to go to the beautiful place of Kiama down the road to Kiama Anglican. We went to check out their spaces during the week, and it's beautiful. It's great. So we'll be doing a whole bunch of different things there across a full day on the 12th of September. So look forward to seeing you women and having a beautiful day. The theme of that day is an attentive journey. We have a really great speaker booked in and some great surprises planned.
Awesome. That sounds really awesome. I'm sure that's going to be a great event, and no doubt you'll hear more about that from Joe. As we come to a bit of a close, I want to just give back to you, Ian. Ian, what are your final reflections? As we've already said, we're gathering next week. There's an opportunity to do that. Give us your final reflections as we close.
I think you all realise how unique this season has been. Please register. We only have the 5th and the 12th of July. You need to register. You can do that online. If you have an issue or you know someone who's having an issue, help them register or get them to ring our wonderful office manager, Adele, who's only too happy to help out. Big shout out to Adele. The last 2 days, I even heard our Prime Minister, Scott Morrison, talk about lifting the 4 square metre rule down to 2 square metres. I'm saying that to you because what happens at the moment, we're hearing lots of things, I feel every day about what you can and can't do. Victoria's in a particular situation, Queensland haven't opened up borders. It's frustrating, it's tiring, and I know many of you have high expectations about what we can do. Let's just work on James 5. Be patient, be generous, be kind. The next 2 Sundays are really us trying to get back into that space to make sure our protocols are in place. Joe said it earlier, to make sure that it's a safe place for everyone who gathers. 8 o'clock isn't coming back live. Mount Kembla Church is not opening up yet, and so we still have restrictions there, and we're going to see how this goes, and so we'd value your prayers. Joe's been doing an extraordinary job through life groups and preparation for the women's ministry, and also the women's teaching night. I think it's right to say, Ruth, did you start that women's teaching night? I think you started the first one. Week one, yeah, Ruth did week 1. So the ladies are very familiar with Ruth. Maybe the blokes aren't. But they don't speak highly enough of what they're doing. So I'm going to. Ruth and Josh, the youth ministry has been the hardest one to work with. You need to understand that, parents. I know Joe's got some wonderful young teenage girls, awesome girls, that deserve more money. Tim, make sure you give the girls an increase in their pocket money because they're so supportive of what their mum does. But Josh and Ruth, they've done an extraordinary job with our youth. And I think us as a church need to thank them for that. Send them a text, thank them. It's been really difficult for them. They've really exceeded my expectations. And I know we as a church are incredibly thankful for what you're doing. And I'm hoping deep down that they're going to continue to do it for a while to come. But just be thankful for what they've been able to do and make sure you express that thanks to them. Langers, there's so much happening. Even the last 6 months, Figtree has joined the Wollongong Scripture Board, for example. You wouldn't know about that because we haven't had a chance to talk about that. There's so much we've been getting involved in you haven't heard about. We'll do that together one day. But again, it won't surprise you that in a month and a bit, we've got something called the World's Missions Conference. Langdon, before we wrap it up, could you help us? What's happening with that?
Listen, we're very excited. Every year, for those that know Figtree, we do the World Missions Conference, and it's our week focus on how we support, how we pray, how we think through and help us understand world missions. So we're going to be doing that from the 8th to the 16th of August, and we're really excited. You know, we do a dinner, we do a breakfast. Things are going to look a bit different. We're finalising those plans, but we're going to be doing that. And it is a chance that even in this crisis time, that we keep on being mindful, as it's hard for us, it's also hard for our mission partners. So we want to just bring those people to our attention, bring those areas of ministry so we can pray, because we're all in it together at these times. So just put that sneakily in the dates and in your calendars now, 8th to the 16th of August. We'll have more information coming up very soon, how you can be involved in that. Very, very exciting. I think we haven't got any more questions, but I want to thank you that if you've had a question, I want to thank those that sent in questions. If you do have a question, you can always get in touch with us. You can send your questions. Probably the text message will shut down, but you can send your questions always. Oh, you can. There you go. You can still send us your questions. Ian does these awesome updates on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We can answer those questions as well there. 0447 595 345. Thank you so much. I really want to thank you on a Sunday night. All this crew have come in. I really want to thank you on the panel here, Josh and Ruth. There they are. And then look, Hayden is panning away there. Ian and Joe. I really want to thank Sam Whiten, Adele Petronek, Hayden Clark's on the camera. John Daxon has come down and make sure we have some internet. Jordan is down the front. She's been taking our questions. And a huge shout out to Darren, who is heading off. He's heading off to the Northern Territory on Thursday. He has served like an absolute ninja in so many ways and been just amazing. And so he's served us. So take this opportunity to say thank you so much, Darren. Huge shout out to you. But a shout out to you as well at home. Thank you so much for joining us, for being part of our community, for answering these questions, for taking time out on a Sunday night. For all of us here, we want to say thank you. We're going to close tonight with a video, Good Grace. Thank you and good night.
Strangers, neighbors, our blood is one. Children of generations, of every nation, of kingdom come. So don't let your heart be troubled. Hold your head up high, don't fear no evil. Fix your eyes on this one truth. God is madly in love with you. So take courage, hold on, be strong. Remember where our help comes from. Oh, oh, oh. Jesus, our redemption, our salvation is in His word. Jesus,
as the walls come down on creation. Everything with breath, repeat the sound of His children. Clean hands, pure hearts, good grace, good God. His name is Jesus. So sing wild.